Call it the Great American Cover-Up, because we've been telling you for a few weeks that the knives were out for Biden within the Democrat Party. But now, with a new piece of the New York Times focused on concerns about his age and his performance, we're beginning to see just how rapidly things are falling apart. President Biden is facing an alarming level of doubt from inside his own party, with 64% of Democrat voters saying they would prefer a new standard bearer in 2024. At 79, he's already the oldest president in American history, and concerns about his age ranked at the top of the list for Democratic voters who want the party to find an alternative. Well, the Times went on to speak to a number of Biden voters, including Nicole Ferrier, a preschool teacher from Michigan, saying, "I don't want someone knocking on death's door." Another Biden voter, John Waldron from New York, is quoted as saying, "You ever see him on TV? And compared the president to zombies. That's what he looks like." But why is it just coming to light now? All right, we've been documenting Biden's doddering foolishness since he announced his run for the presidency in 2019, which begs the question, what did the media know and when did they know it? Now, obviously, the press knows a lot more than they're telling us about how bad things really are inside the White House. But they're not reporting everything they know because they're afraid of helping the GOP. Now, this is scandalous, because we, the American people, have a right to know whether Biden is capable of actually carrying out the duties of the office. Joining me now is Charlie Hurt, Fox News contributor and Washington Times opinion editor, and Amala Ekpunobi, former left-wing activist and now PragerU personality. Charlie, now the media, they're only souring on Biden because they see where the voters are, right? The voters are ready to dump him, so the media seem closer to wanting to dump him, correct?
Yeah, and also, Joe Biden has served his purpose, and so they realize now how toxic he has become, what a problem he is. The guy can't even ride a bicycle, which is a real problem. So they're starting to turn on him because they realize that this is not going to carry forward very well. But the one mistake about that you just said, we've not been recording his doddering foolishness just since 2019. We've been recording his doddering foolishness for decades.
Okay,
because long before he got into the White House, he was a buffoon on Capitol Hill. Yeah. It's just becoming so much more obvious. And the only difference is now he's so old, a lot of us kind of feel sorry for him.
No, I don't. I feel sorry for the country. I mean, God bless him, because he can do a lot of things in retirement. I mean, no, I feel sorry for the country. The country is suffering because of this. Now, Amala, today Politico is reporting that a left-wing group that worked in the 2020 election to persuade progressive voters to actually support Biden is now preparing to turn on him as well. It's called Roots Action, with an email list of 1.2 million voters, and said it plans to spend six figures on a hashtag Don't Run Joe campaign, with digital ads starting one day after the midterms. Amala, I can hear the quacking already, but this is the lamest of lame ducks.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say I'm surprised by this, but I think they're looking at Biden and they're seeing that there's not a lot of longevity in this. And this is not just a young person thing of people looking up and going, well, the government looks pretty old at the moment. Even people, Americans, 65 and older, to the tune of 60%, are saying, you know, this is not the candidate for us anymore. And it's not just his age and the fact that he is in clear medical decline, but he's also been in government for nearly 50 years now. We have a problem. And the latest New York Times opinion piece has referred to our government as a gerontocracy, which is a massive problem to see this many people of this age so disconnected from real American life sitting in government.
Now, Charlie, the Hill is reporting tonight on what they're contemplating as a doomsday political scenario for the Democrats. Okay, it's taking shape. So they're now going back and saying, well, we thought we could hold on to the Senate, but that's looking bad now because Biden's dragging down the whole party, even in some races where, they might have been having some trouble. Those are tightening. Do you see that as well?
Oh, absolutely. And what's really remarkable about this is that just, from 30,000 feet, this, the map for Republicans in the Senate is the worst map of the, every 2-year cycle for the United States Senate. This is the worst map that Republicans can face. The one that they face in 2 years from now and in 4 years from now is much, much better. But even going against that massive headwind, it looks like Democrats are going to have a real hard time holding on to the Senate. And the single person who is to blame for that more than anybody else is Joe Biden. The bar was so low for him when he came into office. All he had to do was unify the country, and instead he has wrecked the country, wrecked the economy, and made a mess of foreign affairs, which is supposed to be his area of expertise. And, you know, he's been the reigning expert on foreign policy in Washington for 50 years.
Well, here's what Kamala said about 2024. Watch.
Up on Capitol Hill, there is speculation among some Democrats and some Republicans that President Biden won't run for re-election in 2024. What's your message to those who say that?
Listen to President Biden. He intends to run. And if he does, I intend to run with him.
Amala, how convincing was that?
Oh, she's not convincing ever. She is just as bad on camera as he is. The only issue is she can't use her age as an excuse. It's unbelievable. And no, I don't think we're going to see him running again. And if we do, oh my gosh, we're in for some trouble.
Well, Charlie, when you really think this through, the Democrats are going to have to emerge with some working class connections, right? Like they're going to have the working class Democrats suddenly. Like, so they're going to trot out that John, Fetterman in Pennsylvania, who's about as working class as, any trust fund kid out there. But I don't think that's going to work. I mean, Fetterman's just a big phony. So is Tim Ryan.
No, because Joe Biden has given in to the just left-wing lunacy of the party. They're no longer, they don't even pretend to represent the working class. And the exact same things that led to Joe Biden getting picked in 2020 for the nomination are still at play now. Because the party has moved so far away from their roots. But do you remember the Republican ad, or rather the Democrat ad that showed the Republican wheeling Granny off the cliff?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was during Obamacare. Well, that's what the media and Democrats are doing to Joe Biden now. They're just trying to wheel Joe Biden in a wheelchair off a cliff, anything to get rid of him, because they know that they can't win with him.
Well, the media created this. Charlie and Amala, great to see you both.